Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to shrink down, way, way down, to take a guided tour of the most fundamental unit of life, the cell.
Okay, let's start with a kind of mind-bending idea. Think about it. Your body isn't just one thing. It's actually a massive, sprawling metropolis made up of trillions of these tiny self-sufficient units, all working together.
And you know, our source material gives us the perfect way to wrap our heads around this. We're going to imagine each cell as its very own miniature, bustling city. It's a simple idea, yeah? But it's an incredibly powerful way to understand what's really going on inside us. So here's our itinerary for today's tour. We'll start with a quick welcome, then we're off to visit City Hall, check out the industrial district, see the power plants, and meet the essential city services. Then we'll wrap it all up by looking at the big picture. All right, first things first, let's get the lay of the land and really understand the city we're about to explore. Our source material really says it best. The cell isn't just a blob of stuff. It's a marvel of biological engineering. I mean, from the simplest little bacterium to incredibly complex creatures like us, these tiny structures are the foundation of everything. Okay, our first official stop on the tour is maybe the most important building in the whole city, City Hall. Or in the world of the cell, it's called the nucleus. This is it. This is the command center where all the big decisions get made. It directs every single activity to make sure the entire city runs smoothly, just according to plan. So you can really think of the nucleus as the city's brain. Why? Because it holds the master blueprints, the DNA. And these instructions control literally everything, from how the city grows and divides to making proteins, which are basically all the tools and building materials the city needs to function. Now that we've seen the blueprints over at City Hall, let's go check out the industrial heart of the city. This is where all those plans get turned into action, where everything gets made, processed, and shipped out. So what's really cool is that the industrial district has two different kinds of assembly lines. You've got the rough ER. It's rough because it's covered in these tiny workers called ribosomes, and its main job is to build proteins. Then you've got the smooth ER. No ribosomes here. Its job is to make other important things, like lipids, which are fats, and to run the city's detox program. Okay, so once all these proteins and lipids are built, you can't just leave them on the factory floor, right? They get sent to the Golgi apparatus. This is basically the city's post office. Here, everything gets sorted, packaged up, and labeled for delivery to exactly where it needs to go. Of course, no city can run without power. And our cell city has its own incredible, super efficient power plants. And these are the famous mitochondria, the undisputed powerhouses. They take in fuel, like sugar, from the food you eat and convert it into the cell's main energy source, a molecule called ATP. The best way to think of ATP is like a tiny, rechargeable battery. This is the energy that powers every single thing the cell does. You know, every city needs a support crew to keep things running. So let's meet some of the unsung heroes that handle the day-to-day maintenance and keep everything in tip-top shape. First up, the lysosomes. Think of these guys as the city's sanitation and recycling department all rolled into one. They're filled with powerful enzymes that break down all the garbage, waste, old cell parts, you name it, keeping the city streets clean. We actually met these guys already, back in the industrial district. Ribosomes are the individual factory workers. They have one super important job: build proteins. Some of them are attached to the rough ER assembly line, while others just float around, building proteins wherever they're needed most. So what keeps this whole city from just collapsing into a puddle? That would be the cytoskeleton. It's this amazing network of fibers that acts like both the steel framework for the buildings and the city's entire highway system. It gives the cell its shape and helps move goods all around town. Well, our tour is just about over, so let's zoom out and connect all these dots, because understanding why this tiny city is so important, well, that's the whole point. See, just like a real city has different neighborhoods with different jobs, your body has different kinds of cells, each with a specialized role. Skin cells are like a construction crew constantly repairing damage. Nerve cells, they're the high-speed communication network. Muscle cells are the engines that let you move. They all work together to keep the whole operation, that's you, running. But what happens when the city planning goes wrong? As our source material points out, if there's a serious malfunction inside one of these tiny factories, say the blueprints from the nucleus get corrupted, it can lead to big problems, like cancer, where cells start growing and dividing totally out of control. And that leaves us with one last really big thought. If each cell is a perfectly coordinated city,
What happens when that coordination breaks down? See, understanding how this microscopic city is planned and how it works, that's not just a biology lesson. It is the absolute key to understanding disease and figuring out how to fix it. The secrets to our health are written in the blueprints of these tiny, tireless cities.